Hey, what's up, guys? This your man James Flames, broadcasting here from San Diego Comic-Con 2013. If you weren't able to make it here, you missed a good one. But don't worry, your man James Flames is bringing you the exclusive Walking Dead panel. Yes, the exclusive Walking Dead panel. The cast members were here. Robert Kirkman was here. They gave a lot of insight on season 4. Let's check it out.
Let's bring the cast out now. Lots of people here. I know you guys are going to first up. Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln! That's Michelle Denai Gurira. Here's Glenn Steven Young. And Maggie Lawrence Cohen. It's Herschel Scott Wilson. That's Tyrese Chad Coleman. That's the Governor, David Morrissey. And, of course, Norman Reedus. Welcome to Walking Dead Michigan. So, let's settle. I know, they're dreaming. Andy, let's start with you. So here's my question for. I want to know what Rick was thinking. Why, at the end of last season, go back to the prison? Why not stay in Woodbury? Why do you think he brought all the people back to the prison?
Yeah, very good question. And I'm not sure that I can answer it because we answer it in this season.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah. Is that right?
That's a good question, yeah. Do you think that your relationship to Carl at this point, do you feel him, do you think he's totally slipped away, or do you feel like there's still a little something left to salvage?
I think that the relationship with Carl is integral to the beginning of this season, certainly for Rick, and him turning into a sociopath at the end of the season definitely woke him up, for his parenting duties. So yeah, I think you find Rick in a completely new place at the beginning of this season. He's trying to repress his brutality, and he's renounced quite a lot of responsibilities and leadership for the sake of his children. So yeah, it's a completely, certainly for me, it was a very different experience beginning this season.
Yeah. What about you, Denai? I mean, what happened with Andrea? You started to see at the end of last season Michonne really warming up to everyone, and then this horrible thing happens at the end, and where do you think that leaves her emotionally?
Well, I think the great thing was that she had actually started to become part of a community, and the beautiful thing that Andrea gives to her as she's dying is she says it's great that you found them. And there is that understanding that you found a group of people, the group that I spoke to you about, the group that I trusted myself with, and now you're a part of them. And I think that was a kind of a parting thing between them that was affirming that Michonne was in the right place.
Can she have room for emotions? Do you think she can still be the sort of warrior that she needs to be, but still let people?
She's every woman, babe. She has room for all that. Great. Women have a lot of capacity for a lot of things, and I think she's finding, she's having to open up the capacity she has that she's sort of shut down. But yeah, she's got space for that.
Have you found it any easier, like the physical demands? Because when we talked last year, you were like, it's been pretty intense, just what the show has you do. So how are you feeling as an actor with the physical part?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't get easier.
No?
Which is great. great. You know, you're kept on your toes. I mean, the beauty of it is, you know, as you know, Greg was saying, like the gags and the experiences of the characters, it just gets more and more intense. It's just more and more interesting stuff they come up with. So you have to pivot, you have to adjust, and your body has to do new things. Like I'd never ridden a horse before, so that was new to my body as well. But like just all sorts of different things, just you know, are thrown at you, and you gotta move with it. So no, you don't get comfortable.
Yeah.
Not about this show.
I want to ask Steven, Glenn had a really interesting sort of emotional journey this past season where he kind of, what was that?
You're lucky.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean he's lucky? Yes, because of Maggie, yes.
That's
yes.
true. It's very true.
He sort of heckled Glenn. You know these are not, it's not a documentary, The Walking Dead's a scripted show.
She just clapped his mouth shut.
He means well. But I feel like Glenn sort of went through this kind of, he was trying to process all of his emotions about what happened between the governor and Maggie, and kind of became a little selfish in a way, and you know, sort of pulled it out at the end. What do you think was going on with him?
Yeah, you know, that was just, I love Glenn because he's constantly evolving, kind of like someone evolves just even in the regular world. You know, you're learning a lot of life lessons, and he happened to go through a really terrible one with the person that he truly loves and cares about, and might be the sole reason why he's still alive. And when that is tarnished in front of him, he doesn't know how to handle it. He doesn't realize that there's a hurt person that he needs to help through. Instead, all he sees is vengeance and how I can take care of it myself, and he puts her to the wayside. And, I think that was a really great arc to play, considering it shows this young man's growth into learning each life lesson, even along with, you know, Herschel teaching that lesson in response.
It is kind of a weird thing, and I think it's a guy thing, where it's like, you're so focused on, I gotta get vengeance for the guy who wronged this person I care about, that you actually end up pushing that person aside and just become obsessed with your own vengeance.
Oh yeah, totally, we're just self-centered. guys are just self-centered.
It's true.
I would say mostly.
I was thinking about myself, I'm sorry. Lauren, what do
He's
you...
forgiven them.
He's forgiven, yes. Oh, we saw the scene where he was forgiven. That was very nice forgiveness on your part. If only everyone could be so forgiving. But what you know, it almost seems like that Maggie was dealing with what happened with the governor better than Glenn was dealing with it. What did you see from her point of view during those episodes?
Yeah, I think that Maggie wanted to move on a little faster, and she knew the way that women do, that it's better to just kind of live in that moment and to not spoil what they had saved by the vengeance or the regret. And interestingly, all that from the governor and all the sort of torture and challenges that Maggie went through last year have propelled a whole new journey for her this year. So it was a very good springboard for a stronger Cat.
Do you think this kind of a relationship that they have in this world is essential to survival, or do you think it's detrimental to have those kinds of deep emotional?
I think it's a choice. I definitely think it's a choice, and I think that Maggie and Glenn have had a chance to let it test the relationship, and I think that when we see them again this season, we're going to see that it's something that strengthens them. So I think it can definitely go either way.
Okay, this is for Scott, Scott Wilson, Herschel's sort of become the moral compass of the group now, and so how do you feel that his evolution or his role within the group might change in the fourth season? Do you think that's going to grow, or at a certain point is it going to be like, screw it, do whatever you guys want?
I said this earlier today. I think he really just wants to hold on to his other leg.
That's his motivation.
That's his motivation. But I think the whole group is so interconnected and so dependent on each other. It's really wonderful to see how everyone does react to each other. So he has a part in that. So I feel very happy that I've been a part of it, and will continue to be until whatever happens.
I want to have I'd also like to have a hand for Chad Coleman, who this is his first panel. Tyrese is a very important character in the comics and someone that people wanted to see, and you're finally him.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I am.
so how did it feel coming into this group that was already sort of formed? You know, did you kind of slide right in, or was there an adjustment period, or how do you as an actor fit into the group, and then where do you think Tyrese fits in?
Well, as an actor, you know, this is an amazing group of folks, as I said before, with a lot of integrity, talent, and artistry. And any actor would want to be in that home with the type of writing and the performances and the production. So, you know, it's a high level, and it's where any actor would want to live. You know, these are the challenges you want. You want actors who inspire you, writers who inspire you, you know. And you want to be a part of something that fans appreciate on the level that you guys do. So, so as far as that's concerned, man, these guys welcome me with open arms, and I'm grateful for that. As far as Tyrese, on a certain level, you know, Tyrese is still trying to find out how he fits in, you know, and like what are the rules of engagement for him, you know, in this dilapidated world we're living in, and you know, how to negotiate, you know, his place in his family, and how to negotiate the outside world that's crashing in. So I think he's still trying to find out, you know, find his footing. To see, yeah.
For all intents and purposes, he seems like he's a good guy and he's motivated to try to do the right thing. But how do you think you figure out what that is when the sort of moral and ethical axis of the world is not the same?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the question that he's plagued with. I don't get the sense that he's, you know, gratuitous violence. You know, he says, I sense that he really needs a strong reasoning behind why he does what he does, but this world just won't let him operate that way. And you know, no one goes unscathed, and eventually, you know, can of whoop ass might get popped up.
All right, so this is for David Morrissey down at the end. I feel like whenever we sort of do these panels and have these, I'm over here. Whenever we do these panels and have these talks, and it would sort of come up like someone would say, "Oh, the governor's a bad guy," or "The governor's a villain." You would be kind of offended. You're like, "No, he's not.
No, he's not.
But wait a minute. Some shit happened at the end of last season that I think would indicate the contrary to your statement. Has he finally broken? Do you think?
Well, you know, I mean, I think at the end of last season he was in a very dark place, and he sort of did some bad things, turned on his own people. But he feels like they betrayed him, you know, and that's just not going to go down well with the governor, you know. So he just has to sort of take it in hand. But I mean, he went off with 2 of them. He didn't kill them all.
Oh, okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
So you know, you've got to give him a break. You know?
How about all the eggs he didn't break? How about that?
Yeah, well, you just got to be on my side. If you're not on my side, you just got to go. You know, that's the thing. That's the deal with the governor. You know.
Damn it, you're still so charming, even when you're saying horrible things. Where do you think emotionally, you know, let's say before you started shooting the next season and you kind of knew where everything was going, where did you think he was going to go after that? Where can that guy go from that point?
Well, that's the question. I mean, I think even in 316 we saw him at the immediate aftermath of what he did, and I think, you know, it was a very spontaneous action. It was like he went into trauma. It was something happened to him, something switched. I mean, he wasn't a particularly rational man before that, but I mean, you know, just as he's thwarted in his desire is to take the prison. It doesn't work, and he sees his soldiers sort of running away, turning the back on him, and he has to do something. And a switch goes off in his head, and I think what we do is we see him dealing with what that switch is. What is it in him and around him that makes that switch go down, and he has to deal with that.
Yeah. So this last is for Norman down at the end. Norman, I feel like we saw Daryl a tremendous amount of growth and integration into the community. Honestly, I got choked up with that scene with you and Merle where you're defending Glenn. You're like, he's Korean, man. I was like, stop it, you're killing me. Like, it was such a lovely moment. He's really become a part of the group, and seeing the juxtaposition of him to Merle shows how far Daryl's actually come. How was that? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I read the script with Merle dying, I thought, man, this day's gonna suck, you know. But you know, the thing is, he was sort of doomed to become Mini Merle, you know, and I wanted to play him like I grew up, you know, embarrassed that he's racist and that he takes drugs and stuff. And you know, without Merle around, he can sort of find this sense of self-worth that he never would have found if this apocalypse didn't happen. So, you know, the relationships he has with these people is the glue that keeps him there, because he doesn't need to be there. He can hunt, he can find his own food, he can protect himself, but these people are this family, you know, that he never had before. But he's definitely grown up a ton. I mean, all the characters, and it's super interesting to be on the inside and see what everybody brings to these characters, because nobody's the same as they were the first season, you know, so it's a real delight for me.
Yeah, so for Andy, obviously I think there's a risk of getting to a point in that world where you don't want to let new people in. And essentially what you've done at the end of last season is just let a ton of new people in that you don't know who they are. And so you kind of have to trust at that point.
I think so, and I think the death of Andrea combined with what happened with my son, with Carl, definitely was the catalyst to bring him to that point. And he realized that the brutality and pushing people away of season 3 really wasn't working for him, and it was sort of cataclysmic for his family. And so yeah, I think when we meet them all in season 4, there is a whole new community in the prison, and an incredible friction and tension between certain characters, and it makes for incredible character-driven scenes, and it's been great.
Denai, at this point in the lives of the characters, is there any shred of hope? And if there is, what is that? Or do you think they're just like day to day, they're surviving? Will they ever get to be comfortable again?
I mean, I think it's really interesting how, you know, the melding of the communities occurring and what that all means. I think the hope is in so many things. I think the hope is in the beauty of Beth singing. The hope is in the beauty of that little baby girl. The hope is in Carl. And the hope is in so many components of how a community is melding and moving forward, regardless of the ugliness of the world around them. And I think that just represents something that people want to preserve and protect.
I definitely, whenever the characters start to get comfortable is when I always get the most nervous, because that's when Kirkman likes to go, let's shake the box!
As you should. I mean, one thing I'll guarantee you is expect the unexpected, and you'll never really get comfortable. So don't try.
And at this point, it really is like the humans are the ones to really fear from now on. It's like the walkers are, you know, they're essentially animals at this point, right?
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
No, I don't. But a walker can't turn on you. You know what's coming at you, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, I think the walkers are walkers, and we know that they are, you know, a threat. You have to handle them, and there are times, you know, handling them might take you by surprise exactly how you have to. So
I don't know if you saw that trailer.
Yeah, I did. It was
Pretty dangerous.
Did that you?
So yeah, the walkers are no threat at all this season.
No.
Yeah, I guess you just kind of tuned out.
You could just change the title to Angry People.
Get out of here, Hardwick. Get out of here.
No, you're my boss. Okay, I'll leave.
God, would anyone else like to host Talking Dead?
Oh, shit.
We're taking applications.
What are you, the internet? What are you, Reddit? We want to open up the floor to fan questions. We're going to have a nice chunk of time to answer those, and I know there's a lot, so let's just get it going. Hi.
Run to the mic.
Hi.
What's your name?
Sky.
Hi, Sky. What's your question?
It's for Robert and Andrew and maybe Denai. I was just wondering if, you know, since Andrea is dead in the book now, and in the show,
A few people out there were worried just now, I think.
And they were still together in the book. Is there a possibility that Michonne and Rick can get together?
Oh, she basically wants to play Walking Dead matchmaker.
Yeah, what do you guys think of that? Does that sound like a good plan?
Oh my God, they're sitting right next to each other. What does it mean? What does it mean? It's a clue.
I'm playing footsie.
Anything is possible.
Yes, what's your name? What's your question?
Oh, hi, my name is Mariel.
Hi, Mariel.
I have a question for Denai and Norman. Pretty much the end of the season, you guys lost someone really close to you, and I was wondering, especially since you guys are so, I don't want to say an emotional, but...
Yes, we're getting together.
No, it's Rick and Michonne. Anyways.
That's decided.
She just wrote it.
It's fan fiction.
I was wondering, how do you think that's going to drive your guys' characters in the next season, since the deaths happened so close in the end of this last season?
Babe, you wanna go?
Go ahead, please.
She's look how cute she is. Yeah, I mean, everyone's losing people left and right, but you know, both those characters are sort of loner characters who are, you know, learning to deal with a group and be part of a group. So I think it'll just bring us closer together, and you know, then we'll get together. And maybe Rick can join. Who knows? You never know.
That is a fan fiction
Sorry,
that's actually
Andy.
being written. That's a fan fiction that's actually being
Why would
written.
you do that?
I've read that one.
No, let's all just take a second and picture it. Oh, there
let's
it is.
not. Let's move on.
Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Jill, and Rishan all the way. But my question is, Andrew, what place did you go to in the scene where you find out about Lori's death? It kind of broke my heart a little bit. So I was just wondering, are you method? Like, what place did you go to?
Well, you know, the only bad thing about this show is the fact that we get to work with amazing actors, make amazing friendships, and then they get bitten and I shoot them. So, but, you know, I think this is the first time that I've done a show that's done 3 years, and you don't only grieve missing a friendship, but you're never going to have those scenes again with those characters, and that's an incredibly sort of sad thing to happen. And all I don't know what method means, but I just listen to a lot of music, and I didn't really, I try and see what happens, and because it was such an extraordinary script and moment, I just sort of, I don't really know, it's very difficult to explain, but I just got into a place and then sort of let myself alone, really. And the kid Chandler was amazing, because he looked at me, there was one look that kind of broke my heart. And you know, you always bring part of yourself to a character. And you know, I have a wife, I have 2 children, and you know, when a child looks at you and confirms the death of one of the most important human beings in your life, it sounds like I am method actually halfway through this answer, but it completely floored me. I mean, I said to the director that I wanted to start in one place. I wanted him to drop his gun. I wanted to see a man that had been leading these people fall apart and fall down physically. And that was the thing that unlocked that moment and made me go to my knees. And, you know, that's pretty much what happened. That's as much as I can remember.
And you feel like Rick's back, right? I mean, it was a little touch and go there for a few episodes where he seemed like he was loosely tethered to reality.
Yeah, and I think that you know, Scott and everybody's touched upon it, is that by circumstance, these human beings are thrown together and become this, I was going to say fucking, man, but...
That's a good thing you didn't say it.
Because it says, please be aware that members of your audience may be under 18 years of age.
That doesn't matter, they have the internet, they've seen worse.
I'm glad I didn't say that. But it's you get pulled through. I think one of my favorite things about the show is that you get pulled through different times by different characters, and you get this incredible unity that I love. Is the kind of the beating heart of the show. And Herschel, all of these characters, Michonne, the burgeoning relationship and romance between Rick and Michonne.
Which was just announced at Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's just happened. Now, these things, you know, I agree. I think he's been pulled out of this terrible place, you know, by these human beings.
Great. Okay, next question. Hi, what's your name? Hi. What's your question?
So the last season, we see like how Lori passes, and like we all know that you guys are like a tight-knit group. Like, how does the whole cast feel when one of the characters has to make an exit?
I can't really ask David Morrissey because he killed a lot of them.
I didn't know she was dead.
I mean, my experience, because it was, you know, being very close to Andrea, which Michonne was, the beauty of it was that Laurie Holden did indoctrinate me into The Walking Dead. It was just me and her in the beginning, and she was a dear indoctrinator, and it was beautiful to learn this world through her. So it is not the easiest experience. The beauty of this show is that amazingly its structure is that people come and go, and that structure works. And so there's something, you know, like you understand it artistically, and so you go with what, you know, happens. But it is always very hard, and I think it's hard even as a human being, and it translates into your character, and they beautifully interweave that into how we end up moving forward as a group. So, but yeah, it's hard. It is.
You know, we have a screening room at the studio in Georgia, and every actor that has died on the show, we've retired their cast number and put a photo of them up on the walls, like retiring their jersey. So every day when we have meetings in that room, we see all the photos of all the actors that have perished on the show.
The Grateful Dead.
Yeah, it's called The Grateful Dead. We have a little thing up on the wall. But we see them every day, so it's like they're always still kind of around.
I call it the Hall of Mame.
Yes, what's your question, ma'am?
Firstly, I'd like to give a high five from the Mitten State to Steven.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Go Kazoo.
Are you from Kalamazoo?
No, I'm from East Lansing.
Oh, nice. What's up? Is anybody, okay. Hi.
Okay, my question is, what do you like most about playing characters that are morally and physically evolving as the story arc progresses?
What's your question, Chris?
That's I'm very lucky to play this character for multiple reasons, but one important part is the fact that, you know, the stark difference between season 1 Glenn and season 3 Glenn, and the continual evolution of Glenn even into season 4. And it's, for me, it's an actor's dream to be able to do as many different things as I've been able to do. I've been able to play like kind of the comic relief or the quirky weird kid, and then I've been able to play you know, the action scenes, and then also play the hyper emotional and then love scenes, and it's been really awesome. And so like kind of Denai said, there's this magic that happens with you and your character, especially with television, that you're with your character for so long over the course of such a long story that you start finding parallels to real life and how the story goes in the show. So an instance would be, you know, when Dale goes, that was rough for Glenn, because I only imagined how many conversations that Glenn and Dale had in the RV about how to fix things, or what books to read, or just little tidbits of knowledge. And the amazing thing is Jeff did the same thing for me. So we would have dinners, just him and I I remember he bought me a bunch of Shakespeare, and he was like, read this, and study this. And to me, when he left, I remember I was really nervous for that scene where it was me and Laurie Holden at the RV, RV, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can conjure up this type of emotion. But then it was just boom, like waterworks, like so easy, because all I had to do was play the moment, which is Dale is gone, but Jeff is gone, and it was so brutal. So it's this crazy journey that I think all of us take, and everyone evolves, and I think that's the beauty of the show, for I think the audience to latch onto one character and say, oh, I'm that guy, and then just follow his evolution. And it's beautiful for us because we get to play everything. It's awesome.
I like the distinction between season 1 Glenn and season 3 Glenn, because season 1 Glenn's sort of like, oh, he's this kind of nerdy kid, and he's, you know, like you can tell he's brave, but he's still a little scared of the world. And then season 3 group is like ripped. Like that scene, like no, come on, seriously. So that scene, the scene where Merle throws the walker in and you're just the chair was not only a performance, but also the physical performance was fantastic. So have you been training? How did you get prepared for that?
You know what's cool is like it's in the same regard, the parallels with real life, remnants of the past inform your future. So John actually, before I got into the 3rd season, when he was exiting, he was like, yo, you gotta come work out at my gym, man. He boxes.
Is that John Bernthal impersonation?
Yo, bro. Yo, you gotta box, bro. That's how he talks.
It's uncanny.
Yeah, it's really good. He's from cartoons. But he was like, you need to work out at my gym, and it'd be fun to just box. And I got into it, and it just kind of followed suit that way. And so, you know, past characters coming in real life to inform your evolution, it's all really kismet and weird.
Okay. Oh, look, the Walking Dead cast is going to ask the Walking Dead cast a question.
It's the Pizarro.
Alright. My question is...
Very docile walkers behind you, just standing there politely.
We taught them how to be tame. So our question is that when the zombie apocalypse really does happen, how would you guys deal with it? Are you guys prepared?
Wait, I'm sorry, are you guys triplets? The walkers in the back?
No, they're just walkers. They all...
Am I being Asian against my own, racist?
Well, you are being Asian, yes. You are technically being Asian.
I do something stupid up here every year. This is the one.
You don't have to be walker racist. Like, that's not cool. They were individuals.
It looks
Steven.
My bad, everyone in Asia. What was the question?
The question is, I believe the question was, how would you, I remember when you came on our podcast, you were like, I would just hang myself because this is a horrible world to live in.
I regret answering that because I do get this question a lot, so I'm oftentimes saying, oh, I would kill myself. And I'm like, I'm not like a depressed guy. I don't know that I would do that, but it seems like the thing to do if you did have to face living in this world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be fighting zombies all day long and, being scared. And scared doesn't sound fun.
No, nonstop. So you wouldn't want to live in this world that you created. It's too.
No, I think I don't know if I'd hang myself. I'd probably jump off a high place because then you'd have that free fall sensation.
Oh yeah. So
and that sounds fun.
2 seconds of whee, and then it's over.
Oh, I should have done some parachuting before I got to this.
Andy, what about you? Do you feel like you are prepared for the impending apocalypse?
I would like to think, no, I'd be useless, actually. But Chandler Riggs, on the other hand, who sadly can't be here, but he's grown up. This boy is a beast now, and his voice is about an octave lower than when you last saw him. I've actually got to drop my voice in scenes now to make it match. But yeah, I'd stand behind Chandler Riggs.
What about you, Norman? What would you do with the apocalypse?
I would take over a hotel, spray paint myself silver, run around in circles naked, and watch South Park.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the best answer I've ever heard.
Yeah. Woo! Till it's over.
I'm so glad that in your world, South Park is still on. Like, somehow they managed to keep it alive, Matt and Trey. Thank you, Walking Dead cast. Yes, what is your name, sir?
I want to ask a question to Andrew and David. One of my favorite moments in last season was when Rick and the governor meet each other and try to reach a compromise. But Rick doesn't want to give up the prison, and the governor wants to get the prison. Anyway, how did you guys feed off each other's intensity? Like the governor's violence inside him, and Rick's dealing with his wife's death, and trying to keep that intense.
David, you
Yes,
want to start?
let's start with David. So basically you have these two alpha males who are being territorial at each other. So how did you guys use that energy?
Well, first of all, when the script arrived, I came on the show because I was such a huge fan of the show and the actors in it. And then I got here, and there's quite a lot of them I didn't get to work with. I didn't get to work with Norman and Andy as well. And then when that scene came, I was like, right, I get to work with Andy. That was my big thing. I wanted to work with him so much, and here it was. And also, the scene was so well written. And then, unusually for us, it was in one location. We weren't rushing around everywhere, so we had a bit more time with that scene. But we never talked to each other. We never talked to each other outside of doing the lines, actually being in the scene. We sort of ran it a bit, but we didn't have much chat outside of the scene itself. We sort of kept ourselves to ourselves. And I remember it was a bit like doing a play. It was a bit like, there we were, we knew the lines, and we just ran it and ran it. David, who directed it, was wonderful and sort of, filmed us doing it. But it felt like a little bit more like being in the theater, really. But it was for me, it was just a great chance to work with Andrew Lincoln, who I've been a friend of for a long time, but a fan of for even longer. And it was just great to be in a scene with him finally. So that's what it was like for me.
What about you?
Pretty much the same thing. It was we just left ourselves alone, and it was kind of edgy that day, and there was quite a good energy on set, which was combative. And funny enough, a lot of the crew were wearing crew shirts that had Rick Grimes on the back as well. So there was this bit of
They were not.
Yes, they were.
They so were not. That was just...
Five Rick Grimes. There were five.
No, they weren't. They all had a patch on.
See, this is why I didn't talk to you.
My memory is they had a patch on. Even the DOP, when he was doing your had a patch on.
And David just pulls the gun that's taped under the panel.
I was so angry about that gun because I could see it every take. I was like, "Put your gun up, man."
Yes, next row up. One more question.
Hi, Chris.
If there's one person at Comic-Con who really stands out above the rest, I think we know it's Button Lady. And her contributions during the last panel. And this one, Button Lady, what is your question?
My question's for David. Oh my God, I love Blackpool. I was wondering if you could convince the writing staff to write in a scene where you could sing, maybe just before, like a melancholy song, just before Carl kills you.
Just before what happens?
She's so reasonable.
I love how people are like people are just getting up like, okay, so here's where you're gonna go with the show, and then you guys figure it out.
There is an internet phenomenon, which is I'm sure you've seen, which is the bad lip syncing.
Do it, Dave, please, do it.
Just the governor singing, but I can't really see a crossover between Blackpool and The Walking Dead. That would be a really strange hybrid. I think the governor's not gonna burst into song soon. Certainly not going to be doing any dancing. But you never know. You never know.
What did you think when you said? What did you think when you first saw the bad lip reading? It was genius.
I thought it was great. I mean, it was great. I thought it was done in the best. With great love for the show as well. So, but it was fun to see it because it's such a heavy show, and we do real tough emotions. So to see some lightness, that was great for somebody else to do that. But it was it was fun. My kids got a real buzz out of it, so that was good.
David, sing it.
You should sing it now.
Sing it.
Yeah,
you should do it.
That's how we do it on Broadway.
Will you guys please help me in thanking the executive producers and the cast of The Walking Dead. for waiting if you waited all day, and we'll see you over the weekend. Have fun at the con today.
Thank you.